G'day guys, my name's iRide Taz. Today's video is brought to you by Chopped and Bobbed. It's a crew out of Geelong, Melbourne, Australia. They, like me, love the XVS or V-Star 650 as a platform to modify. They were kind enough to send me out this awesome hoodie that's absolutely amazing quality. It's got this wicked design on it. It's perfect size. Check out their website, choppedandbobbed.com.au, to score yourself one of these wicked hoodies, a hat, a bandana, a crew neck. You've got to check it out, guys. choppedandbobbed.com.au. G'day guys, my name's iRide Taz, and in today's video I just wanted to cover a few of the little things I've done to the bike in the last few weeks. Stuff that didn't really need a video to cover, but together just adds to the aesthetic of the motorcycle and the look that I'm going for. I really wanted to produce this video last week, and I really wanted to ride to a really pristine location to shoot it, but we've had an extreme weather event in Tasmania. People down the road have got their roofs ripped off. We had a bit of damage here. My work's been without power or phones for over a week, and I just had to adult rather than modify my motorcycle or make videos for you guys, and I hope you understand, but this is the video I wanted to create. I just have to do it here at home rather than somewhere pretty, because there's still a lot of debris on the road. It's sleeting. It's just not ideal to go for a ride, sorry. One of the coolest things I've done was pretty easy. It was to take these crappy plastic chrome covers off the top of the engine. These were pitted and cracked. They've got heat absorbing mat attached to them that won't come off easily. Basically, you just take out the 4 Allen bolts, twist, rattle, twist it and shake it and pull it, and it'll eventually come out. It's a little bit of messing about, but you can get them out without breaking them. What you're left with is this real cool look, and I used an angle grinder to just cut off a few of the tabs. I used some VHT engine black paint to paint the jugs, and I think it gives a much more historic retro look than the crappy plastic square fake cover. Looks fantastic. It was literally like a half an hour job, and it sort of pushes the motorcycle back decades in the aesthetic. It really, in my opinion, suits the look that I'm going for. Got an old skateboard in the shed from when I used to skate 20 years ago. I'm way too old. My bones don't bend. I don't bounce anymore. I don't skateboard. What I have been doing though is cutting that skateboard up and adding it to a few of my projects. And on this bike, I use the wheels to make the perches that my feet go on. On this side, I literally left the bearing in the wheel, and I just put an N6 bolt straight through, drilled a hole in the stock OEM foot pad, and just bolted it together. And then I painted the foot pad black, just ultimately to disguise it a little bit. Just adds to that ratty look that I'm going for. It's similar on this side, guys. I used the wheel, this time without the bearing in it. Took the OEM rubber off the gear shifter, which is now my foot clutch, pushed it on, drilled a hole through the wheel and through the OEM perch, and put a screw up through into there to hold it all together. I then used some Selleys Knead It, which is sort of like JB Weld, and kneaded it up, pushed it into all the nooks and crannies to hold it all together. And then I used an epoxy paint to paint it black and just bring the look together. So this is now my foot clutch, And this is the perch that I use for my foot. And again, I think it just adds to that ratty look I'm going for. This is my hand shifter. It was brown, but I have painted it with epoxy black, and then I've sanded through the different layers and let it patina, and I think it looks really cool. I've used some wire. I think it was basically coat hanger wire to create some hooks. I've wrapped them around these two bolts, and they go to what is the clutch cable attached to my foot clutch. What I found with the foot clutch was that you lose a lot of the fine feathering ability that you used to with using your fingers. So bottom line, I found the more this moves side to side or up and down, the more exaggerated that inability to feather the clutch was. So I've created these wire supports, and basically it takes out any movement of the clutch cable, and it gives me a little bit more fine control. That and getting used to the foot clutch makes it much easier to use now than what it was a couple of weeks ago when I did it. Again, I think it just sort of adds to the look of the bike to have hand shift foot clutch. It just sort of suits that SoCal chopper look I'm going for with this bike. Guys, this came the other day. It's a Crown gas cap. It's made for a Harley Sportster. It's vented, which is important because there's no other vent in this tank. So you need vented gas caps. This is that Messina 19 eBay seller tank out of China. And this Crown gas cap, $21.95 delivered. It's listed under Harley Sportster. There's a bazillion of them on eBay. You won't struggle to find them. Again, I think it just adds to that chopper look that I'm sort of evolving this bike into. Mirrors. This bike has had several different iterations of mirrors on it. I've had mirrors here, I've had mirrors here, I've had mirrors up the wazoo, basically. With the slim down bars, the mirrors I've settled on, or mirror I've settled on, is this fairly stock looking 4-inch round mirror. People call them Mickey Mouse, but I really like them. They give great vision behind, they don't show your shoulder or your elbow, and just to slim it down, I found that this gave me the look I was after and the safety and vision that I was after. Yeah, love it or hate it, Mickey Mouse or not, this is what I've settled on, and I think it looks great. A long time ago, I made a video about using Emgo cocktail shakers on an XVS 650. It was quite difficult. At that point, I didn't have a welder and I didn't have any skills in welding, and I held it together, and it held together for a year or so. It wasn't perfect, but it certainly did the job. Now that I've got my welder and I'm fairly confident with it, I took it off, I welded it together, I neatened it up, secured it, and ultimately I'm much happier with it, and it sounds absolutely awesome. So guys, by welding it up, I took out a couple of the very minor exhaust leaks that were happening around the joint, and where you get the step up and step down things that slide together to change the sizing. There's a bit of messing about. These are now basically welded to the header pipes, but it creates a solid unit that has absolutely no leaks and is probably going to outlast most of the rest of the bike. These have still got the baffles in it, which keeps it from being obnoxiously loud. And for me, I really like the look and I do like the note. It's probably not as low and grumbly as something like Short Shots, but every man and his dog has got Short Shots on an XVS 650, and I think that these cocktail shakers in a sort of shotgun look suit the look that I'm going for, that sort of chopper bobber sort of look that I've evolved this bike into. I used 7-inch eBay heat shields. Normally they're held on to the header pipes using Jubilee clips, things like this that you use to hold mufflers together, etc. I cut them off and I've welded them on, and to get the look that I was going for, I've used black paint, I've used brown paint, and sort of sanded and used a rag and some sponges to randomly splodge it all over and sort of get a rust look on the header pipes and the heat shields. These were partially wrapped, which at the time looked cool, and it suited the Japanese style bobber look that it used to have. But as the bike evolved, I wanted to change the look a little bit. Every bike I've got's got wrap on it, so I just wanted to do something different. And the welded heat shields with the patinaed header pipes just again suit the look of the bike, in my opinion, that I'm going for. The belt that I'd saved for a couple of years to tie the Mexican blanket on ultimately snapped. The buckle just wasn't up to it. So I've bought another old school belt. This one was actually a strap for a big leather bag, and I've cut it down and I've attached it to the bike in the same way that the kangaroo leather belt was, and I've just added one up the top here to stop that from wiggling around. It holds the Mexican blanket on better, and yeah, does the job, suits the look. Really happy with that. I was a bit disappointed that that belt that I'd saved for a project snapped so quickly. Down the back here, guys, I used to have a pretty dodgy eBay prism bar light. Did the job, wasn't stoked with it, but I did have it kicking around, and ultimately it just did the job. Since then I've taken it off and I've bought a Lucas replica. I got it from thirdgear.com.au. I think it was about $40 or something delivered. Wired it in, used solder sleeves to wire it in rather than bullet connectors. So it's all pretty secure and works an absolute treat. It's smaller and it's sort of more era specific to the look that I'm going for. Yeah, really happy with that one. So all in, guys, nothing there required a how-to video, but together they just add to the look of the bike. I'm really happy with the sort of small details and how the bike's coming along. Feel welcome to like, comment, subscribe. If you want to support the channel, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/IroTaz, paypal.me/IroTaz, or you can now become a member of the channel through YouTube. They've created a thing to rival Patreon, and it's probably better for us creators, and it also just goes into the same account as what our AdSense ad revenue goes into, rather than paying a separate company with bigger fees. So go to the bottom of where the video plays and you'll see join. Ultimately only have one tier. It's not particularly expensive. You get a few perks. That's up and running, so if you want to join my channel, go to YouTube membership. That's probably the easiest way to do it these days. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Until I see you next time, guys, I'm out.